And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. You know the drill. Go visit our friends, Hail Mary Sports Bar. They are in Cheviot, right on Harrison Avenue, the Dora District. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks, or you can just hang out at Hail Mary's. They've got 27 TVs, 3 facing outside, a 9-screen video wall. There's not a bad seat in the house. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers, which, now that works again, so that's good. They can stream all the games, and Cincinnati sports will always be on the video wall. They have food trucks on the weekends and randomly throughout the week. They have a brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and not only do they pour the coldest beer around, but they do so in 32.8-degree beer frosted glasses. Hail Mary Sports Bar in Cheviot. All right, Aaron. It is Tuesday, so it is talking about talking. Talking about talking is a lot more fun when Cincinnati is talking about winning. So we had Scott Satterfield today. We had Jordan Young today. We had Brendan Sorsby today. And then I did not get to see practice today. I had to run some errands, and then Kelsey had a game at 5 o'clock tonight. So we are recording late, almost 11 o'clock.
I'm tired.
The East Coast. I am worn out. It has been a long day. So let's get to it. Aaron, take it away.
It was a breath of fresh air to be listening to Coach Scott Satterfield off of a win and not 2.5 hours of Marty Gilliard. That said, Texas Tech puts up a lot of points. Thanks, Coach, for that. They're still learning about our players. They've figured out a lot over the course of a month, but they feel like they are still figuring some things out. It's not a finished product. I think that's okay. Said it was great to see Henderson and Sorsby connecting on the fade routes. They're going to need to see more of that. Texas Tech is more up-tempo. Our offense slowing things down and grinding out long drives could complicate things for Texas Tech. They have to find ways to keep them from 3rd and short, but also find ways to get 3rd and short for ourselves. A lot of coach speak so far. Working on crowd noise during practice this week. They're going to be pumping stuff with speakers and what have you, just to try and figure out cadences and calling plays in and all that kind of stuff. He was asked specifically about Antoine Peak, I believe by you, Chad, but pivoted and made it about both Antoine Peak and Jaquan Sanks and how they have both done well and how rotating them should actually help both of them in this game, especially if Texas Tech tries to get to that magic number 80 that they have been averaging per game. The fact that they do rotate guys should help fend off on the tempo, on the temperature, all of that. They're focusing on one day at a time. A Big 12 game on the road does have a certain intensity, though, that they have been trying to amp up in the locker room, amp up as the week is going by. They did get Rob Jackson back, and they are hopeful that they have Kamari Burns back this week as well. And then, of course, Philip Wilder came back last week. So starting to get some guys back, especially in the trenches. He loves having a quarterback who is mobile, who makes good decisions, who can decipher defenses, who can make plays when we need them. And so far, Brendan Sorsby is checking all of those boxes. So Sorsby is poised and tough in the pocket. He is not afraid to stay back there or fight to get yards. And when watching the tape on Washington State, they created a lot of turnovers. They are trying to see what they can take from that game and place it into their own game plan and kind of make it their own. So that's everything I had from Coach Sat.
You can tell he's starting to feel a little. I mean, winning will do that a lot more so than losing. If they lose a couple straight, he will not look as comfortable on the dais going forward. But I think you can tell like he's starting to feel a little bit better about this group and the direction. And look, Aaron, when you're an offensive-minded coach, you know what puts you at ease more than anything? Knowing that you can trust that your quarterback is going to make plays. Like there's nothing better.
I imagine, especially after watching the game that I had to watch last night while listening to Marty Gilliard, having a defense that can actually stop people would also make an offensive-minded coach feel good.
We don't know. We still don't know. Miami's offense is bad.
Well,
and Houston's offense is not good. So we're still in let's find out mode a little bit, I think, with the defense. I am encouraged. Right. That's not to say I'm not encouraged. I am encouraged by what is happening. But in context, if they would have been bad against those two teams, oh boy. It's going to get tested this week. We'll have a better feel for how far along this defense has come by this time next week. What I'm just like, as a quarterback, he's a former quarterback, right? He coaches offense. Knowing that you have a Brendan Sorsby, like you can get in your bag. You can dig a little bit, right? You got a stud running back. You got a great number one wide receiver, a great tight end, a stable of other guys that are competent, and you have the most important piece. You're sitting down drawing up plays. You're having a lot more fun going to the old drawing board than literally where they were at a year ago when they were like, all right, we can run 6 plays. Like, and that's pretty much all we can execute at this point.
Yeah. Moving on to Jordan Young. There was a lot of that.
It's getting better. He's getting better. There was a lot more of it at Camp Higher Ground. He's cutting down.
I liked what Jordan had to say. He said that they expect in game what they practice. They expect in a game that what they practiced should end in a complete game. It should essentially what they're going through and running through should end in a complete game if everything clicks the way it does in practice. He is looking forward to this week's game, getting back to work. He said that DC Tyson Veit stays in their ear, not to be complacent and stay as one. He is not at all surprised by what Trey Gola-Collard is doing currently, as he does put in the work, and it's translating. He said that they keep the energy up on the sidelines. It starts in their unit room, and then it continues when they make plays, and they have to bring their own energy, especially on the road, and make sure that that energy doesn't drop off on the sidelines, despite not having the crowd behind you. And then he said he does attack each week, working every single down, making sure to bring his guys with him, as he is a leader on this defense. He takes it very seriously. And I don't know, he's in a – sounds like just he's in a different headspace than he was last year. Last year, I don't think you would have gotten these types of answers out of him. I think they were pretty well thought out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that, let's face it, he had played most of his like football life inside as a corner, guarding slot receivers. He was in, even though the position is technically the same, being a nickel and being a number one boundary corner are two completely different positions, two completely different responsibilities. So I think we're seeing a guy that now has that year under his belt of making that transition. And now he's a little bit more comfortable. And much like Scott Satterfield winning, Jordan Young is playing well. And you're going to feel much more confident. You're gonna have a little bit more belief in yourself when you're going out there and getting the job done, which he has done pretty much through the entirety of 4 games.
And you see that confidence out of him. He's making plays he couldn't have made last year, by
he wasn't ready to,
physically unable or mentally unable to make those plays, or just not having the guys behind him that he was able to make those plays. So I'm I'm giving him the Warden back. I know I took it away last year, but I think he's earned thus far having the Warden back. Brendan Sorsby said when he was here on his visit, he and coach discussed the balance of offense that is now coming to fruition, and I think that's a really cool thing that doesn't always happen. And hopefully, because I gotta imagine that there's probably some bigger programs looking at this kid wondering, oh, how do we get him? Hopefully, these things coming to fruition is enough to keep one Brendan Sorsby around and under.
Aaron, well, if we have to worry about that, can we do that in December? Like, you're like the 8th person that has talked about that. Why can't we just live in the moment anymore?
Because he talked about it.
Enjoy nice things.
He talked about his visit, so that's where my head went. He said he's heading home. He's heading home, kind of. He said it's still 4.5, 5 hours away, but it is a homecoming of sorts. So he's gonna have some friends and family and stuff there. He said it's cool to see and know that he's in the top 5 rankings, but he also knows that if he stinks it up, it's not going to be the same next week. He's not.
It's a week-to-week deal.
He is realistic. Said it's nice to have the connection with Xavier Henderson, and he does trust him on those 50-50 balls. Says that it's going to be good experience to have a different type of game, being a road night game, blackout, Lubbock, tortillas being thrown.
They throw tortillas at you.
Yeah.
Do they put cheese in them? Do they at least throw quesadillas at you?
No, that's a health hazard.
You gotta bring your own cheese?
No, you just bring your own tortilla. How are we getting tortillas into the stadium? Like,
apparently you can just bring them in, I guess. It's like octopi at hockey games when they throw octopi on the court.
I think you have to sneak those in too. I don't think they just allow you to waltz in with an octopus. Anyway, is
that the plural of octopus? Octopi?
Yeah, or a pod. Either way, they came to Earth off of a meteor somewhere. Like those are not indigenous to this planet. They're freaky. Anyway, he says press or play off on Henderson. We're going to take what they give, but we have other weapons too. He sounds like he is humming with this offense, and that he is just clicking with not just Henderson, but with everybody. He just seems very confident in what they're doing right now.
It helps when the guys are good. Like when the players are good, it helps the quarterback out a little bit.
He did say that the run game is obviously very important. Thanks, Scott. He said it was fun lowering his shoulder and getting tackled into the end zone by Luke Kandra, who continues to remind him that he tackled him into the end zone. You're welcome, Brendan. Said Gavin Grover is really good, and they keep just telling him that this is a game that you can build on. And then he did go out and actually, true to his word, rewarded donuts for the 0. And I don't understand why he had Derek Canteen go pick them up. I guess I buy, you fly, or something. But
maybe he lived closer. Maybe he was the closest to the Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know.
That's how that worked.
Look, if I'm buying 200 donuts for you, you can go get them.
I buy, you fly. That's how it works.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's all I got on Brendan. And then Sterling Burkhalter, he's got a bigger role, has to stay ready. That he stayed ready last season, but this is obviously different. Watching Xavier Henderson work and make plays has been inspiring. He's been under Xavier Henderson's tutelage, and he's picked up on quite a bit.
Hendo. We call him Hendo now.
I did see I think that was his mom who tweeted that out, wasn't it?
It was Tracy that works for Cincy Reigns that said she talked to his mom. Okay. And his mom said that he didn't want any confusion with that ugly school in Norwood. So
good on him.
He wanted to be called Hendo from now on.
That's the most Bearcat thing he could have ever said, actually.
If you'd like to hear the most Bearcat things you could ever say, we did a podcast with Marty Gilliard last night. There's 2 hours and 40 minutes of the most Bearcat things you could ever hear.
And then some. Sterling Burkhalter said he wants to put on a show, as he is a Cincy native, and he's got friends and family always here, sometimes as many as 25 people here. So he is inspired to put on a show for them. Says he feels great already at 3 wins after last season. And I'm telling you what, man, after what they went through last season, anybody who is a holdover from last year has to be feeling worlds different than what last year was.
Yes.
And then he says they know it's a night game on ESPN2, but the approach has stayed the same.
Yeah.
Then we had DC Tyson Veit, who says all credit goes to the players on a shutout, as the players are the ones who executed it. So the defense has gotten better every day, but a lot of players have been able to settle into permanent positions. So that's a little bit different than what it was going into the season, as they were still figuring some of those things out. So they have to continue to be consistent in preparation and play. Great credit to the freshmen who have contributed in critical moments and snaps already. So they take everything one day at a time as a defense, and that the easiest day is always yesterday. Said that playing good offense and defense puts a target on your back. And that's where they want to live, is with a target on their back.
Yeah.
He was completely unaware that Josh Minkins and Derek Canteen are top 20 safeties according to PFF, but he is not surprised due to the preparation and how they practice and spend time both on and off the field. And then he finished up talking about Texas Tech and saying that Taj Brooks is exceptional. Baron Morton plays really, really well. They do run 80 offensive plays per game on average, including running the ball an awful lot. So he is expecting them to be very up-tempo. And again, I think we're going to have to go back and look and see how much the rotation helps the defense stay just fresh.
Yeah. And hopefully healthy. Like that's something that did kind of grind them out last year, as they didn't have the depth. And then when the injuries, the bumps and bruises started to pile up, there was no answer. Like it was, okay, well, you're still going to have to go out there and play 75 snaps. Sorry. Hopefully now at 40, 50 snaps, 60 snaps for your top line guys, a little bit less wear and tear on this defense. And I know it bothered the hell out of some of us, the amount of subbing that was happening in weeks 1 and 2. But you hope now that that's something that is starting to bear fruit.
I'm never going to complain about how much you sub against FCS.
Well, it kind of cost them in ways. It kind of cost them the game against Pitt.
I'm just talking about Towson.
Yeah, I'm talking about game 2. That's the nightcap. Or that's the nightcap. What day is it? Is Marty still talking? We'll see you tomorrow night for the BCJ podcast. This is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.